And we're back here on the State of the Saints podcast where we talk New Orleans Saints. Appreciate everybody for being here. Want to give a special shout out once again to Miss Erin Summers for being a part of the State of the Saints podcast. As you know, she covers the New Orleans Saints on NewOrleansSaints.com. You can check her on the pregame show before games and the postgame show alongside a friend of the show, Mr. John DeShazer. Great to hear from her, and everything that's going on with the team, giving us some of the inside scoop. And thank you all for being here as well. Shouts out to everybody in the chat right now. And also shouts out to everybody that has been hitting me up, emailing me, asking me about the weather. As of right now, everything is fine. The wind is blowing pretty hard. Got a little rain that comes periodically as I'm looking out the window right now. But me and my family are safe. My wife is in there asleep. My son is in there asleep. The only one that ain't asleep is me because I'm up here doing this, man. So, but thank y'all so much for your concern, and I really do appreciate that. But we're going to talk a little bit more about Andy Dalton. As you already know, well, some of you may know if you haven't heard, is Andy Dalton is going to get the start this weekend versus the Minnesota Vikings. They said that Jameis Winston is doubtful for the game. They also said wide receiver Michael Thomas is doubtful for the game. So I didn't expect either one of those guys to play, to be honest with you. I heard later on in the week that it was more than likely that Jameis Winston was going to sit out, according to a source of mine. I didn't really say anything about it because, I felt like it was their story to break. I just kind of just put it out there. But, of course, we see that Jameis Winston has been dealing with that back injury, that ankle injury, and the Saints have decided to kind of go in a different direction. And I think it's extremely smart, especially after some of the things that we've seen throughout the National Football League and the practices of teams like the Miami Dolphins, right? The Miami Dolphins yesterday allowed Tua Tagovailoa to hit the field after Sunday's game where it looks like he was obviously concussed. They said he passed protocol. They put him out there. And it was a very, very scary sight to see a man hit his head on a pavement like that, on the grass that way, and his fingers curled up that way. So sometimes you got to protect these players from themselves. And Jameis Winston is a competitor. He's a fighter, but he's also a guy who is dealing with an injury that a lot of players in the National Football League know about, and every team is trying to pinpoint on. The fact that he's been dealing with this injury, people know that he has these fractured vertebrae. They know that that he's a sitting duck right now, and you don't want to see this guy deal with paralysis or something like that. You know what I'm saying? You're basically playing Russian roulette with your health. So sometimes you got to protect these guys from themselves. I think it's a smart decision by Dennis Allen and the coaching staff to protect Jameis Winston from himself. I can respect the hard work. I can respect the dedication. I can respect the warrior mentality. But sometimes you have to be smart, and you got to make sure that these players are done right by. So, Andy Dalton, he is the guy. He's the next guy up, and looking forward to seeing what he can do. Because the way Andy Dalton plays this Sunday versus the Minnesota Vikings is going to tell us a lot of things. It's going to tell us a lot of things about the quarterback position, the offensive line, as well as the overall coaching and play calling. It is really going to help us understand is where the issue is really going to lie. Are there improvements? Can this be improved? And who needs to maybe take a step back and maybe take a look in the mirror in order to change some of these things? So there's going to be some positive things. So hopefully in the midst of that, the Saints can get a victory in the process as well. Seth Jones says, ready for the game. Yeah, I am too. Regardless of where you stand as far as this team, you have to admit this probably over the last couple of years. That's pretty fair. Over the last couple of years, it's probably been one of the most exciting times to be a Saints fan because there has been levels of uncertainty at positions and coaching positions that we're not grown accustomed to seeing. So sometimes it can be a little bit nerve-wracking, right? But on the other hand, it can be really exciting, especially like when you're in my line of work, being a podcaster, being a writer, and also just following the team. It can be pretty exciting. Hopefully, some wins can be added to this excitement, so we can feel a little bit more content about our team. But we'll see. And before I get started, when I before I open up the chat and read some of your comments, I do want to acknowledge something. I want to give a special shout out to my niece Lauren. On today, she was elected. She was elected class queen, man. So she's queen of her school, man. She won today, and I know that she's going to be watching this later on. So I want to let you know that Uncle Timmy is extremely proud of you, and I'm happy for everything that's happened, and I'm glad that you won and you are the queen. I remember when I was down there a couple weeks ago, and I was talking to her. She had to give a speech, and she was talking about how nervous she was, but I knew she was going to knock it out the park. And she has like such an incredible personality to be as young as she is. But I'm extremely proud of her, as well as her older brother, Kalen, who was elected Mr. PE at his school. So my sister going to have a lot of money problems, say, for these homecoming festivities. But nevertheless, I'm so proud of both of them, man. They're incredible. I was, just spending time with them and just watching them grow into, beautiful people is amazing. So congratulations to both of them. And I know that they're going to knock them dead during those homecoming festivities. So I wanted to acknowledge that before we go forward. But let's go ahead and read some of the comments here. Great interview with Aaron Summers. Yeah, bro, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. This was Aaron first time being on the show. And I appreciate her coming on. I mean, she works extremely hard, y'all. I mean, covering the New Orleans Saints and then covering the Pelicans as well, giving us wall-to-wall coverage when it comes to that. So I appreciate her time. TJ, do you know any players on the team yet? Do I know? What do you mean by as far as like interacting with them and stuff like that? Nah, not really. No, not really. I mean, honestly, I probably developed more relationships with former players than I have with current players, and most of the time that's because a lot of the things that they do, they have to get like certain permission from the organization, and you got to get in touch with their agencies and stuff like that, and a lot of those guys, they're so dialed into football, they don't really have time for interviews besides like the ones that they're obligated to do, like ESPN, some of these guys like Rich Eisen. I mean, these guys, they're part of the media where they can actually call into the organization and basically pick who they want to talk to on that particular time. So I don't know anybody in particular. I've had conversations with a few guys, of course, that have been on the team, in the past. Mario Edwards, I knew him since he was in high school. I've had opportunity to talk to Key Washington, who, I kind of, go back and forth with on social media. Zach Streif, Jari Evans, I've talked to him on several occasions. So, it's just a couple guys, that I know, and I won't say I know them personally, like, we about to go out for a drink or go out to eat or nothing, but they've always been very candid and very kind to me, since I've been doing the show. But probably the person that I probably have the best relationship with, as far as interacting and talking, is probably Brian McFadden, because just talking to him, and I mean, I just think that he's a a really good person. So man, shouts out to him. But yeah, but not so many of the players that are on the team right now. Let's see. You want to fall? Give Trequan a call. Well, I don't know, man. We maybe gotta get Trequan a little slack here, man. I mean, he went over 100 yards and he made some plays, man. He made some plays when we needed him. I mean, I'm a little concerned, especially him hitting his head on the ground after. Look, I'm concerned about all like concussion guys at this particular point. I mean, after what we've seen, what happened to Tua, it's one thing, like, knowing about concussions, but it's another thing. It's another thing to actually see it in real time. TJ, your cam off? I don't think so. Is my camera off? I think y'all can see me, right? Everybody can see me, right? Y'all can hear me. Y'all can see me just fine. I apologize. Like I said, it's a little crazy out here right now when it comes to the weather. Can y'all hear me and can y'all see me? And if you can, I apologize for that. Like I said, the weather is pretty bad out here in South Carolina. Let's see. I am looking forward to seeing how the offense will look with Dalton under center. Winston needs to get healthy. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's going to answer a lot of the questions that we have about this offense. TJ sang that Ray Charles tune you sang last night. Nah, I can't remember what I said. What I say? Oh yeah. Nah, I ain't gonna say that, man. I ain't gonna be that petty no more. I know what you're talking about. TJ, have you heard any new news about Latavius Murray? Last I heard, we signed him to the practice squad, right? Yeah. He's still on the team, big time. He's still on the team. He did take the trip to London. Everybody that was a part of the team that wasn't on IR made the trip. That's according to head coach Dennis Allen. So he's out there. Will he play? I don't know. We'll see once Sunday hits and we get that report. I seen PJ at the barbecue place getting his jersey back. Let's see. Do you think Dak is rushing back because Cooper Rush on the street? Yes. Yes, I do, Ray. I mean, look, I understand we look at these press conferences and we see these guys. Well, what do you think about your teammate, man? Well, he's working really hard. He's dedicating himself to, and anytime I need him to any advice to help me, he's right there. And I just think that he's ultimate teammate. Blah, 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 blah. In reality, it's a competition, right? Look, I don't think these guys are praying for a dude downfall. I don't think they're praying that a guy gets hurt. But at the back of the mind of the guy who is getting hurt, he's like, I got to rush back. He sees the guy in practice. He sees the guy the way he shows up to work. He sees the guy's overall development when it comes to knowing the playbook. You see these things. And the guy is on a 2-game winning streak right now. And we all know, I mean, this can be one of those situations where it's like life coming full circle, because if you forgot and you probably just don't follow Dallas Cowboy football, remember, Tony Romo was originally supposed to be the starting quarterback of the team, but Dak Prescott came in preseason and lit it up. And then you had Tony Romo dealing with the back injury, and he was supposed to sit out a couple weeks, and Dak Prescott went there and lit it up and became offensive rookie of the year. And the next thing you know, you see Tony Romo being one of the best color commentators in sports right now, right? So this could be one of those situations where life is coming full circle. Maybe he's seeing this when it comes to Cooper Rush. And not to mention, when you look at a guy like Dak Prescott, he hasn't been lighting it up. Fourth quarter heroics is not going to get it done. And also, your positioning in the postseason, losing at home in the playoffs, all that stuff right there is a recipe to lose your job. So yes, it's definitely the reason why he's trying to hurry back, because he might be looking at a little bit of deja vu. You know what I'm saying? But basically, the roles are reversed. He's the Tony Romo to Cooper Rush's Dak Prescott. So yeah, I do think that's the reason why he's rushing back. TJ, are we going to be 2-2 after this week? And I hope we right the ship, because we went through the division gauntlet these first 3 games. Yeah, Dale, look, I believe that the Saints have a possibility of being 2-2 if they don't turn the ball over and they don't just make these crucial mistakes to shoot themselves in the foot. If they do that, then we're going to be looking at 1-3. If they do everything that we know they can do, as far as protecting the ball and sustaining drives, I think they should win this football game. I'm mad it took this to happen for J-Bo to sit down. Yeah. But the thing about it is, I can say it now. He wasn't going to play this week anyway. I'm serious. He wasn't going to play this week anyway. The story came out today, but he wasn't going to play. He was not going to play at all. So it's not so much about the whole Tua Tagovailoa thing. It kind of adds on to a narrative that we had about Jameis sitting down. But the concerns about his back and his ankle and all the other ailments that he's dealing with right now, like you got to take a step back and be like, man, is he doing what's best for the team? And at that particular state that he's in, he was not. So he wasn't going to play anyway. I mean, that was what was told to me, so, and it looks like, what was said was pretty accurate. TJ, I had forgot was that Andy took a large majority of the snaps in all season while Jameis was rehabbing. I was a little worried with chemistry with receivers at one. Say prayers for Storm. I appreciate that, Hart. Look, there's going to be some growing pains regardless. Understand that he did get the snaps when Jameis was dealing with some of the things that he was dealing with. But as Aaron Summers mentioned, I mean, Andy Dalton was here early in the offseason, trying to get his head into the playbook, understanding the offensive concepts and all that kind of stuff. I mean, 15 years of offensive innovation is in that book. So imagine how thick the playbook looks. So the fact that he tried to come in and get ahead of the curve, look, Andy Dalton has something to prove too. I'm pretty sure he looks at a guy like Matthew Stafford. You look at a guy who's been a mainstay on a team for years, go to the playoffs, you lose, and then all of a sudden people like, oh, they ain't gonna never win nothing, and now you go to the Rams and he wins the Super Bowl. I think that Andy Dalton sees a little bit of Matthew Stafford in himself. Like he has an opportunity to play with a team that has a really good defense, offensive players that can get the job done, and he can be a catalyst for the time being, for the team's success. And maybe, if push comes to shove and he springs off a few games, could be the starter going forward. I'm not saying that, that's going to happen, but there's an opportunity that can happen. So I think that, when you start to get into your 30s, he's 34 years old right now, you start looking at your football immortality and you're going to start asking, what is the history of football going to be saying about me? And I know people, look at Andy Dalton and, he was a backup for the Cowboys, you back up for the Bears and all that kind of stuff. But Andy Dalton probably feels deep down inside like he has something to prove and he can change the narrative, but I don't think the narrative is as cruel to him as it is to Jameis Winston. Like if Andy Dalton was to retire tomorrow, people will say, he was a solid quarterback. It's a little bit different, but adding, postseason success when you didn't have any, and also maybe possibly adding, opportunity to go to the Super Bowl on your resume, your career looks a little bit more brighter than it did, before you came to the New Orleans Saints. T. Smitty says, I'm surprised no one in the mainstream media questioned why the Saints continue to play Jameis with a broken back, even Herbert with his bad ribs. T. Smitty, I'll answer that question for you. It's plain and simple. It's because the NFL don't give a damn about these football players. They don't care about these guys. What they care about is their star power while they're there, but they don't care about the ailments that they deal with. They don't care about the things that they have to do in order for them to get on the field. You're not going to tell me that watch you were able to pull up some footage about Mike Evans and Marshawn Lattimore fighting, in a game. You're not going to tell me that you can catch Mike Tomlin running down the sidelines, almost look like he about to trip Jacoby Jones back in the day. You're not going to tell me that you have those eyes in the sky for all those type of egregious offenses, but you're not going to tell me that you don't have an eye in the sky that can tell you that you've seen a quarterback stumble to the ground, punch drunk like, and his two offensive line holding him up in order for him not to fall down, and allowing that same quarterback to play 4 days later in a game that made the concussion that he had Sunday even worse, right? It's about the star power. I say it and I say it again. The NFL cares about their bottom line. Last week, we saw two quarterbacks, Jacoby Brissett and Mitchell Trubisky, two quarterbacks that nobody really wants to see, two backup quarterbacks, in the eyes of the NFL public go toe-to-toe on Thursday night on a platform that the NFL is trying to push as the next thing in streaming, Amazon, right? Nobody was checking for no Jacoby Brissett, and ain't nobody was checking for no Mitchell Trubisky, and the ratings went to the toilet. So you're not going to tell me that didn't play a huge role in influencing the Miami Dolphins and the Cincinnati Bengals to play each other, hyping up that SEC West classic matchup, Alabama versus LSU game with Tua threw for 400 and Joe threw for like 3 and some change. And like, you're not going to tell me that they looked at that as being more appealing. These players are expendable. It's just as simple as that. They're expendable. The NFL knows that, and the wheels are going to keep on turning. But while they're there, they want to make sure that they want to take advantage of those players' star power. And it doesn't matter about an ACL, MCL, LCL, doesn't care about a shoulder, doesn't care about a concussion, and it doesn't care about a back. The only thing that they care about is parading these guys out there for your viewing pleasure, in order for you to keep eyes on the product and all the shareholders happy and all of the sponsors happy as well. They don't give a damn about these players. And that's just the reality of football. And that's the reason why Tua was out there. That's the reason why, in my opinion, they allowed Jameis to be out there as long as he was. And I think that's where we're going to continue to have practices like this. The only difference is we actually seen what can possibly happen by not protecting players from themselves in real time with Tua. But what happens behind the scenes when these guys, aren't falling to the turf, but I'm pretty sure their wives have to stay up at night rubbing their back or, trying to put like cold towels on them or some type of patches or something like that. The things that we don't see behind the scenes, guys coughing up blood. We don't see those things, right? But we had the the terrible luxury. I just say the terrible luxury of watching a guy basically get knocked out cold and allowing, like his ligaments just to, kind of curl up like that. That's not a good look. It's not a good look at all. Let's see. I'm sorry, but Alabama losing to Arkansas this week, and yes, I'm from Arkansas. Well, Arkansas played pretty good against Texas A&M. Texas A&M had a lucky rabbit's foot on the sidelines for them to get out there with that victory. TJ, Mike McDaniel really said that if Tua can't go, Teddy will start week 5. Keyword being if. That tells us all we need to know about the league. Man, look, they knew this dude was hurt. And honestly, at this particular point, I don't trust a doggone thing coming out of Miami. But I know some people got mad at this dude. I know some people smacked their lips when he came out. But Brian Flores, how much of a prophet does that guy look right now about some of the practices of the Miami Dolphins? And we just kind of scoffed at it and got mad and told him, man, he's just mad because, he didn't pan out as a coach. This man has been talking about unfair, unjust practices of the Miami Dolphins all season long. And people just kind of rolled their eyes and kept it moving. But as you can see, the dude, there's some validity behind what he's saying. So that's the way I look at it. But they don't care about these players. There always has to be one of those people in the chat. Let's see. I already read that. King Shush, you a Falcon fan. I feel bad for you. The Tua Burrow rating dynamic you pointed out was spot on, TJ. Bottom line, business. I mean, that's what it all comes down to. These people don't mind going on TV, saying all type of things, as long as the shareholders are happy and as long as the sponsors continue to send those checks. And man, all these players are afterthoughts. Because how many players have we seen, leave the NFL and get replaced by guys that are just as good as they were? So the wheel's going to keep on turning regardless. Can someone tell me why a Ravens fan is trolling in a Saints chat when they're not our opponent this week or even in our division? Make it make sense. Who is trolling? I don't know who trolling in there. Way better than the Saints. King Bailey. I'm not sure who that is, but hey, man, look, there ain't nothing wrong with that. He a Ravens fan. As long as he, staying respectful, I ain't got no problem with that. I mean, the Saints play the Ravens in a couple of weeks. So if you want to keep all that, I would hate for you to use up all your material a few weeks prematurely. Maybe come back during Raven week and maybe we can have a conversation. But I appreciate you for being here, man. Y'all better enjoy sitting at home this year. All right. I mean, you're going to use up all your ammunition. You're going to have to copy and paste. You got to copy and paste, man. So like say some of your bullets, you know what I'm saying, for Raven week. TJ, are you glad we're sitting Jameis? I'm not glad we're sitting Jameis. I understand why they're sitting Jameis. I understand why they're doing it. I feel bad for Jameis because this could be a like there could be a strong possibility. I want people to understand this. Jameis Winston supporters. I'm one of them. There's a strong chance if Andy Dalton, gets some wins, he may not get his job back. I mean, that's like, I know we don't want to talk about that, but if Andy Dalton goes out here, let's just say they win this week, they win next week, and they win the week after that, you resting up Jameis for 3 weeks, like, or the offense looks really good in a win. Like, let's just say, for example, if the Saints put up close to 30 points. For the first time this season, they put up 30 points. And Andy Dalton has completed about 65, 70% of his passes. And they win. And then let's just say they sit out Jameis and they win again. It's going to be hard for the Saints to go back to Jameis Winston. It's going to be hard for them because, I want people to understand this and be prepared. There's a strong possibility if Andy Dalton starts to light it up a little bit, Jameis may not get his job back as a starter. You see what I said, TJ? I correct what I was wrong about. No, I didn't. I didn't see it, Josh. I didn't see what you corrected, man. So if you can copy what you said and paste it down low, then I'll read it. I'll make sure I read it this time. I hope you're right. That's all you know, huh? Why not Hill? He knows the offense can run since the line can't block, and he plays good against the Vikings. Chris, look, I just think that I got a lot of respect for Taysom Hill. To me, this season, he's been a spark on offense. Like, he probably been one of the brightest spots on offense from the Falcon game. Like the point where he was actually in the game making some plays. But look, I just think that this whole experiment, as Taysom Hill as a quarterback, I just think that it needs to come to an end. I get why they're doing it right now because it makes sense. And also it saves a roster spot, right? Maybe you can bring somebody in to add depth to another position by sliding him over because you can still kind of play him. Even though I don't think they're going to play him. I don't think they're going to play him as much this week because he is the number 2 quarterback going into the game. The Saints have not signed another quarterback to be active for this game. So I don't expect for him to play like such a huge role. But I really just feel like Taysom Hill is a bigger weapon not playing a quarterback position than he is playing a quarterback position. And, also you have to look at the fact that, the injuries that he's been sustaining at the quarterback position when he was playing. So I look, it's not the fact that I don't like Taysom Hill. I just don't think that's the direction that you need to go in. I just think that he serves better as being that Swiss Army knife, being able to line him up in different different formations, playing H-back, playing tight end, playing quarterback. There's so many ways that you can use him. Just making him just the dominant quarterback, I just feel like that wouldn't be the right idea. And also, I just think that, to be honest with you, I don't know if he can hold up for an entire season. An entire 18, a 17 game season in 18 weeks. Like I don't see that. So I think that he needs to stay in a position where he is right now. Because you can play that, but I don't know if that's sustainable success playing that position, playing the way Taysom does, because he can't stop being who he is. And for that, I feel like, he will never be able to hold up an entire season. If Andy is playing good ball, would you put Winston back in, TJ? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I wouldn't put him back in. Uh, it is a tough world that we live in, but at the end of the day, the NFL is a production business. It's about production, and as much as I want to see Jameis succeed, as much as I want him to be, what I'm saying, to continue to have success in the National Football League, the reality is if Andy Dalton goes out there and his offense looks better and he's winning games on top of that, like how can you justify going back to Jameis? You can't. And it's unfortunate for him. It's unfortunate for Jameis, but you got to have trust and hope that, you'll be able to get your job back once you heal up. But no, I don't, because I don't think that Jameis has enough skins on the wall for the coaching staff to look at his success under center and be like, okay, we're going to go back to him. So no, I don't. When the backup comes in and plays well, these teams tell the starters, hey, man, you sure you're healthy enough? Take all the time you need, baby. Look, don't put it past like some of these guys, to maybe have conversations with the coach. Sometimes even the coach talk to some of the veterans on the team, ask them what they think about guys. So, look, I think that this offense and this team has they got a lot of faith in Andy Dalton to be able to, sustain success. So we'll see. Y'all must be bored on the Saints podcast just to troll. Well, I appreciate them for being here. While they're here, I just hope that they hit the like button. And if you're one of the 172 people watching this right now, I ask that you hit the like button also. I would appreciate that. I got that game marked. I said last night that the Saints would beat the Vikings 175-14, but as you said, I was wrong. I didn't factor in the quarterback situation. So now my revised prediction is 174 to 14. So you're going to take 1 point off because of Andy Dalton. So I don't know about that.
Hell no. To the no. Hell to the no.
I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure. Maybe we play Madden for 15 minutes on rookie. Maybe that can happen. Anybody that thinks we want Andy Dalton purely for a franchise quarterback is dead wrong. Sure, he's no Drew Brees, but he's proven enough to win actual games, especially with the roster he has now. Well, look, nobody expect for him to be a franchise quarterback. And look, you don't need to be the franchise quarterback. What you need to do is just be steady Eddie, make sure that you limit the mistakes and go out there and execute the offense. So at this particular point, man, like honestly, all this talk about the future starting quarterback and the franchise quarterback, all that stuff right now is irrelevant. Like that's off-season talk. That's what you talk about when no games are being played, and you just basically just put that out there for a show topic or maybe some barbershop talk. But we're talking about every game mattering right now. So as long as we got a quarterback out there that can run the offense, that can play, look, we'll deal with that situation in the offseason. That's up to Mickey Loomis and Kai Harley and Jeff Ireland and Dennis Allen and them. But right now, the Saints need to win some football games. And regardless if it's Winston or if it's Dalton, like they need to win. All that conversation about is he the guy, is he not the guy? Look, what we need is a guy to go out there and execute and run the offense the way it needs to be run in order for the Saints to win. I don't care if it's 15-14. I don't care if it's 9-10. I don't care if it's 42-7. As long as the New Orleans Saints are winning football games, I can care less. All this, is he the guy? Is he not the guy? All that stuff can be saved to the end of the season. That's the way I feel about it. In the words of the late Al Davis, just win, baby. That's all I care about. Just win the game. That's all. That's my biggest. That's my biggest point. Just win the game. He's out because he's hurt, not the same as a benching. No, it's not the same as a benching. But Ken Arthur also, I mean, look, as much as we love Jameis, it's not like he was playing at a level where it just seemed like it's going to be hard to replicate. Like this offense was stagnant. There was some decision-making issues. There was some offensive line issues. There was a lot of things like that were going on. And it's basically low-hanging fruit right now. You know what I'm saying? Like for Andy Dalton to grab. It's not like Jameis Winston was just lighting it up and he had like 10 touchdowns, 1 interception before he got hurt. So, in that case, look, hey, I don't, you winning, but hey, man, this man was lighting it up before he left. He wasn't really lighting it up before he left. You had 38 points in the fourth quarter, 14 across 3 quarters of 3 games. That's not something that you could be like, man, we need to go back to that. So I'm telling you, the way that the Saints were set up offensively over these last 3 games, if Andy Dalton goes out there and he performs and the offense improves, if you starting to see like upticks on 3rd down conversions, if you see the New Orleans Saints like sustaining drives, winning games, it's going to be hard for them to go back to Jameis Winston because it will not be justifiable. I'm just telling you what it is, Let's see. Kamara's stat line in London: 20 carries, 878 yards, and 9 touchdowns. That's not going to happen. We know that ain't going to happen. We know that ain't going to happen. James Hurst, his stock trying to play hurt. What is it? James Hurst? I guess you mean James Hurst, right? The left tackle, I assume. His stock trying to play hurt. He should have never played in that 2nd and 3rd game, and just now be coming back for the London game. I don't know if we talking about. I don't know exactly what we talking about with that. You talking about the left tackle? I think he been all right. Look, James Hurst is who he is. He's a guy who has been across the board as offensive lineman. I don't expect for him to be like a long-time starter, but he's not going to be a long-time starter. This is Trevor Penning's spot, right? But Trevor Penning is hurt, and he's doing what he can. Josh, thank you for the $2, by the way. TJ, will Landry be playing this week? I know Thomas and him left the game. Yeah, Jarvis Landry going to play in the game. Michael Thomas is not. May play just as good as Williams. I don't know about that, man. Marcus May is really good at run support. He's a really sound tackler. And he makes some plays, man. I mean, look, I just think that it's too early for us to be around here being too critical about the safety position. These are 2 guys that are playing in the secondary that were not here last year, and you have to take into account that they're trying to develop a level of chemistry with that. And we always see this with the Saints secondary. It takes them some time in order for them to start to click and gel. So let's not be so quick to like just write off the safeties just yet. These guys have to get some reps. Y'all got Marcus Williams from us, so you our son. Well, look, Marcus Williams playing out his mind right now. TJ played the Dennis Allen walk for all the trolls in the chat. The Dennis Allen walk for all the trolls in the chat. Okay, let me see if I can find it. Is it still here? Yes, it is. Yeah, man. Look, hopefully he had that type of walk going into the stadium. This Sunday. Because maybe we can get a win or something. I don't know. Come on, get some offense, then holler at me. I'm ready for Penny, man. I want to see the rookie. Yeah, I want to see him too. I think that he'll help out tremendously in the running game. Defense doing good. I agree. I'm expecting the offense to be serviceable with Andy. Nothing special, but we'll get it done with the defense we have. Jameis needs Peyton to reel him in. He looks exactly like he did in Tampa. I don't know. I don't know if he needs Peyton to reel him in, but I do think that sometimes he can be a little bit impatient. And it's hard to like kind of coach him out of that sometimes when you feel like you can make all the throws. And he can, for the most part, but I just think sometimes like, man, it's taking too long, or you start looking at the scoreboard and you start realizing you're getting a bunch of 3 and outs and you start to get impatient. So you're like, man, we need to go out here. Let me get this thing done. So I feel it's a good thing. We see a weakness in the Vikings and have Jarvis Landry, Chris Olave with Michael Thomas is out, along with Alvin Kamara being available. Look, I think that in a game like this, I think that this is a Callaway game. I think this is a Callaway game. I think Callaway can go back to being that solid receiver he was a couple of years ago when everybody was looking at Michael Thomas and they was even looking at Traquan Smith a little bit. Chris Olave, who is the offensive rookie of the month, has really been coming on the last couple of weeks, has 26 catches. Well, 26 targets over the last 2 weeks. And, he had that 147-yard gain last week. So people are going to start like zeroing in on him. He might see some double teams. You see Jarvis Landry going to be working the slot. So that opens up an opportunity for Callaway to make some plays. And I expect for Callaway to make some plays because here's the thing. For the majority of last season, you were the number one wide receiver. So you were going up against the top cornerbacks of each respected team. So if you were doing that, I would assume like some of the things that you learned over the course of time, you should be able to go up against the third or the fourth best cornerback on the team. So to me, I'm not really looking at Olave, even though I think that he can have a good game with Andy. I'm more so looking at a guy like Callaway to be able to make some plays and take advantage of his matchups. I mean, I know he has to be chomping at the bit to play. The fact that, he only had like maybe one catch in the entire season, and that was that touchdown. So, he had to be chomping at the bit to be out there and playing. And, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to seeing that. Thank you. You have to go back up in there and wipe your nose, okay? All right. That's Paxton came in the room. Close the door for me, okay? Thank you, buddy. All right, Daddy gonna be finished in a minute, okay? All right. Yeah, there y'all, the whole crew at home today. But I'm gonna read a few more and then we're gonna go ahead and get up out of here. Says one sneaky key to the game is the Saints number 2 corner versus Thielen. Well, I don't know, man. Since these the hamstring injuries, since some of the other things that have been going on, Adam Thielen has really kind of taken a step back a little bit. And not to say that he can't play the position, but I just think that those hamstring injuries that he had over the course of the years has kind of affected his play. But look, Paulson Adebo is more than capable of making, making some plays. I mean, he's really taking steps forward. I like the fact that the Saints kind of pulled them back a little bit last week, gave him some opportunity to get some reps, but then allow him to play the entire game. So I just think that, with that, he should be a little bit ahead of the curve and a little bit more healthier going up against a guy like Adam Thielen or some of the other wide receivers that the Minnesota Vikings have. I got trust in Paulson Adebo. King Bailey, name y'all best wide receiver because Lattimore locking that up. Pac-Man, don't talk about old lines. Winston and Callaway got chemistry. Should have used him more. But it'll be hard to use him when you got Landry, Olave, and Thomas. I mean, I can understand why he ain't getting many looks. Andy has superpowers in his new beard. Mark my words. Debo on Thielen. Yeah, that's not a bad matchup. I'm telling you, that dude is a lot better than a lot of people think that he is. Y'all have Lamar Jackson. He makes the O-line look good. Best right now is Bateman, who's going guard Andrews. Look, we talking about Mark Andrews, the tight end. I mean, yeah, he one of the best tight ends in the game. Look, man, I like I ain't got nothing against the Ravens. I think that they're a good smash mouth team. I think that they put up a lot of points, and I think they really talented. But I mean, I don't know. You got a lot of teams out there that can beat them. You know what I'm saying? That can beat them, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna go to the postseason, but they're not unstoppable. TJ is. And also. Didn't they have a big lead against the Miami Dolphins, and the Miami Dolphins came back and beat the and beat the Baltimore Ravens? When y'all up 28 to something, and they came back and won the game. TJ, is Throckmorton back up for Pete or is it another lineman? I saw he was out. Yeah, Throckmorton is the backup. He's the backup. So hopefully he'll have a better showing now that he knows for a fact that he's going to start this week. Start a 5-game win streak on the way, TJ. I hope so. TJ, Tulane versus Houston on ESPN tonight. You watching? I may check it out. Depends on if I got some power. You know what I'm saying? Like the wind is supposed to pick up later on this evening. So on my power stay on, I might check some things out. Let's see. I know your absence better, but due to that diss track. Let's see, TJ. If you're wondering, King Bailey talking that hot stuff right now, that's why you may be confused on some of these Well, I'm looking at it. You know, better wide receivers and 1-2 don't talk. You know, I mean, he can talk about everything that he want to, but I mean, Saints ain't playing the Ravens right now. You know, Saints ain't playing the Ravens right now. And I got a weird feeling that, you know, this is Jules that's actually talking right now under King Bailey. Jules, is that you or is it somebody else that just came to the group? You know, because I have a feeling that is maybe Jules disguised as King Bailey. I'm not sure. And if it's not Jules, then I apologize. But a lot of this stuff, you know, is looking very familiar to me. Y'all have no wide receivers that's even better than Olave. Like, get out of here. We good. We don't lose games like the Saints. Man, what you talking about? Y'all didn't win the division last year, just like the Saints did. You know, y'all struggles in the postseason, just like, you know what I'm saying, the Saints have. And y'all have won more games over the last couple of years than any other team. So it's not like y'all winning just like the Saints have, but y'all haven't won anything. Y'all haven't won anything with Lamar Jackson. He's won MVP. Yeah, but y'all ain't win nothing. Y'all basically in the same boat. Y'all went, you know what I'm saying? Y'all out there, y'all putting on great offensive performances, but what is it translating to? Like, it's not translating to like overall success, right? So, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I mean, I ain't got no problem with the Ravens. Like, it's hard for me to like really just go back and forth with a Ravens fan. You know, they're not really they're not a rival. They not a team that I just genuinely hate. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Hey, TJ, are you sticking with your early season prediction? We lose to the Vikings. Just curious, big dog. Based on what I've seen from the offense, I'm not changing it. I'm not changing it. No, I feel like the Saints can win this game? Yes. Do I feel like they're gonna win this game? I'm gonna say no. I don't think they're gonna win this game. I mean, nothing from this offense has said to me like they'll be capable of winning a game. So no, I'm not gonna change it. So that, I mean, to be honest with you, I was gonna wait for the prediction to bring that up, but I guess, you know, for the sake of possibility of my power being out, I think they're gonna lose. TJ, what's up? And let me see, with that week to week fan segment for me, and chosen to call out fair weather fans. Week to week fan segment. I mean, look, I basically have week to week fan segments all the time. Like, you know, open up the phone lines and we talk. You know, like basically you can say whatever you can say whatever you want on here. You know, so I just try to, you know, if you feel like you need to call them out, and call them out. It's just so random, TJ. That's the point. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just in case it come out of anywhere. But I mean, I don't know, man. I have a feeling that Jules, man, disguising himself, because he's like the only person I know that really just go that hard for the Ravens like that. And I'm gonna be honest, like I seen on like his Facebook, he was basically like trolling Saints fans. So some of this stuff like kind of looks similar to some of the things that he would say. If it's not him, I apologize, but he has been trolling Saints fans. Head over to Who That Nation Chatline podcast for the Madden gameplay after this. Yeah, I'm about to wrap it up, man. I'm definitely about to wrap it up so y'all can go over there to the WDN chat line. So is AK playing? Yeah, he playing. I expect Jefferson to go off on y'all defense. You can expect all day, but I don't think that's gonna happen. He might make some plays, but I don't know about going off. Defense plays lights out, and all Dalton got to do is play decent. Saints win. Here comes that fake Rams fan, Eugene Rollins, I was telling y'all about last night. I don't know, man. I mean, was he? You talking about he was here on the show? With Eugene, were you here yesterday? Look, first off, I think that y'all looking at this. I think that y'all looking at this entire thing all wrong. When you have people that represent different teams and they come over here to the podcast, it just tells you how successful we have become as a podcast. You know, like so I don't have a problem with it. I remember when I used to have you know, one or two people like watching this. You know what I'm saying? Now it's like we developed a podcast where everybody can enjoy it. So I don't have a problem. All I ask you to do is keep it respectful. You know, no profanity, and make sure that you're not saying anything that's just mad disrespectful, to anybody. So I ain't got no problem with that. Right, TJ, you want other people from other teams in here. Yeah, like I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with people that root for other teams. I got respect for everybody. When the Saints play their team, I want their team to lose. But I mean, if you put a lot of heart and passion into your team, and you're welcome here. TJ, I'm still very confident in this Saints team, and that's good, Tyron. It's good that you're confident in the Saints team, and you should be. I mean, the season is still young, so there's no reason why you shouldn't be confident. Did the Ravens lose to the Dolphins? Yeah, they did. They did. Andy will be good for y'all team. Lean on the defense. Get AK doggone ball. Lee, thank you very much for the $4.99. Says I've been waiting on the Rams for 4 years now, and I'm still hurt to this day. TJ, a lot of people are still hurt because that was a really good team that that got robbed out of a Super Bowl appearance. I'm with y'all, TJ. That's why I don't pay trolls no mind. I welcome them in here. It gets our ratings up. Big facts. Damien, pretty much, I don't have a problem with anybody. Once again, I remember when we started this show and we didn't have this much commentary going on. So it's a blessing to even be at this particular point. And it's also, like, man, it's also a blessing to be at a point where people have so many things to say about you. Like I remember at a point, like, man, I was just trying to do something that I love to do. Now you see people, add me and saying they disagree with me and questioning my ability and my knowledge as a Saints podcaster. Like, I love it. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, like, the fact that somebody will go out their way to acknowledge that is pretty amazing. I mean, I don't take things personally, what I'm saying, to a point where, I feel I want ill will to happen on anybody. I got love for everybody. TJ, how much do you think Minnesota late arrival will have effect on the game, if any? It could have an effect on it when it comes to the sleep regimen and jet lag, but I expect for them to still be professionals. The Saints being ahead of the curve, it does benefit the Saints. How much, we'll see Sunday. I am looking for Lamar. Help, I can't find it. Y'all wasn't saying that last year. Let's see. I cried laughing when the Rams got away with that PI. I still remember Bountygate. Y'all deserve it. Here's the reality when it comes down to it, man. Okay. I want people to understand this. You talk about the whole Bountygate situation. First off, they basically, concocted that whole investigation. Number two, what the Saints did, as far as like them having incentives, is no different than any other locker room. Like, I don't know who your favorite team is, but I'm pretty sure, there are incentives that, that they have out there, when it comes to like doing certain things. The only difference is the Saints were the team that, everybody just put, the microscope on. And then also here's another thing. In order for these guys to receive any level of incentive, right? That means that, what I'm saying, you got to get hits on Brett Favre. Now, I mean, I watched Super Bowl 44, and I'm pretty sure y'all have. Somebody tell me how many times did the Saints get to Peyton Manning? I mean, if my memory serves me correctly, I don't think they got to him not one time. So if they had like a bounty pool in place, nobody got paid. So if the offensive line was actually blocking for these defenders and pushing them back, do you think that would actually happen? Probably not. So I look at it that way, like the offensive line allowed these guys to basically cash in. And once again, there are so many teams that practice this same exact thing, and they probably stopped when the Saints got caught. It's almost like, the team with the hand in a cookie jar, at the end of the day. It's also like what we saw last night with Tua Tagovailoa. How many teams do the same thing behind the scenes, forcing guys to go out there and play, or pushing these guys to play when they obviously hurt? But the Miami Dolphins are the team that got caught with their hand in the cookie jar. So it is no difference. The only reason why everybody, pinpointing at the Saints is because the New Orleans Saints were the team that, people, they investigated. And honestly, it made other teams clean themselves up, because now it's like, man, we don't want to be like the Saints. So you can talk about they deserved it or whatever like that, but if that's the case, they got a lot of teams out here that deserve 9. It's in controversial 9 calls, because they're doing things behind the scenes, and even though it's not coming to the light, they still doing it. I don't care if they are doing it behind the scenes. It's just as wrong as a person that gets caught. Admitted, if Lamar is on the Saints, we're the best team in the league, period. Yeah, I agree with that. That's why I say I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem with Lamar Jackson at all. I don't have a problem with the Ravens at all. I don't. I find myself watching them and liking what I see when I'm watching the Ravens. I wish y'all could get someone for Lamar to throw to. With the weapons, y'all, he doing it without. If y'all had Lamar, y'all won't be 1 and 2. I agree with that. I agree with that one. He wished he had Mike T, Olave, and Jarvis. You're going to do a Coolio tribute. I've done a couple of Coolio tributes, like at the beginning of the show with the countdown. I put Gangsta's Paradise at the beginning of it. But yeah, I did a Coolio tribute on the shows yesterday. Y'all better pay Lamar, because Mickey known to making money flip. He ain't going anywhere. I thought wide receiver better than wide receiver 1. Think about that. Knowing what we know now, Brett Favre deserves all them sacks. Pretty much. That's a good point. Let's see. And to be real, I don't think you're thinking emotionally if you feel the Saints are still in a position to be a force. I really believe, from what not how I feel, that they can turn things around. I think they can. Like it's not like they're playing bad football because they're terrible. They playing bad football because they're sloppy. So I think that you can clean up sloppy play. I mean, having bad players on a bad team, now that you can't clean that up. Y'all struggling with them, might as well give them up. Let's see, our running backs better than any weapon the Ravens have. Fair enough. Y'all giving these trolls too much attention. Clearly, they don't know that guys who never played together have to jail. If you start up a cold engine expected to be firing on all cylinders, you nuts. Do you think Olave going to still be super effective with Andy in? Yes, I do. I mean, people acting like Andy Dalton may not have the strongest arm in the world, but he can get the ball down the field. I mean, I feel like at this stage of his career, his arm probably looking like Drew Brees in 2010, 2011. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. Y'all know Breeze can still get the ball down the field to Devery. We going to see what Dalton can do with the weapons. What up, TJ? I guess we get to see what Dalton can do. Yes, that's pretty. Yeah, that's a fact. Don't think we'll be 1-2 with a healthy Winston either. I agree with that to a certain extent. Hey TJ, how did y'all fare with the storm, man? We doing fine. It looks like if I'm looking outside right now, I see a little bit of wind blowing. No more rain, and I seen like even a little bit of some sunshine. We're trying to peek out, but the sun just went back behind the clouds. But just wind right now. I ain't really seeing rain or anything like that. So, we're fortunate, man. I'm actually looking at my phone right now to look at the weather report and see where we're at. Yeah, so it should start raining like around 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then you got a bunch of wind that's blowing. So after that, man, it's going to pass through, and then tomorrow is supposed to be sunny. So it's supposed to be a sunny Saturday here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. The best thing about it is I know people, is talking about it's coming through from Charleston. I stay about an hour and a half from Charleston, where the storm actually hit landfall, and then where the storm was actually headed. Um, there's this little crevice, and that's where where I stay, and we basically just can't kind of get the last bit of what the storm actually has. But if you're like going towards Georgia, like the Augusta area, it's probably getting a little bit more of the wind and the rain than we got. Let's see, got nobody to throw the ball to. I watched some highlights from Andy last year earlier and was surprised how far he can still throw the ball when targeting Amari and CD. I mean, yeah, like I said, man, I mean, he can still throw the ball down the field. Is he ain't Mahomes or Josh Allen or nothing, but he can still get the ball down the field if a guy gets open. Praying for you all, TJ. I appreciate that, man. Everything gonna be fine. We just got to start playing complimentary football. I think Dalton gonna tear it up. I mean, I don't know. I hope that he does, but we'll see. Sorry for blocking, dude, y'all. We're objective over here, not interested in trolls taking up valuable chat for your Who-Dats. Make a case and support it. Don't troll. Let's see. Our defense top 5 teams struggling to score on us. Yeah, I mean, look, we definitely a top 5 defense. We just need that offense to step up. So Andy is starting. Keep pounding. Yeah, he is, man. He is starting, and we'll see what happens. I'm not even worried about the deep ball. We got to start moving the chains. Thank you. Like that's like we know that we can throw the ball down the field now. I mean, some people, that was their deal breaker right there, man. We can't throw the ball down the field. We can't throw the ball down the field. I mean, Saints threw the ball down the field plenty, bombs away, but they generate no type of offense. Just want to win Sunday. That's it. TJ, have you ever met Vanna White? She's from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Also, no, I never met Vanna White. But if you go to like North Myrtle Beach and you enter the North Myrtle Beach city limits, there's a sign up that says home of Vanna White. So, and I think she was down here not too long ago because I think her mother may have passed away or something. She was down there for a funeral. But nah, I never met her. I never met Vanna White. So Tim, what you think our game plan should be going into the game? Are you talking to me, or are you talking to somebody else named Tim? All right, but if y'all talking to me, look, it's about running the football. Aaron Summers, who was on the show earlier, shouts out to Aaron. She was talking about the Minnesota Vikings struggling to stop the run. So I think that you need to start there, running the football. Number one Saints podcast right here. Well, I appreciate that, man. Thank you. Penning back? Nah, he's not back yet. He's not back yet. He's still a few weeks off, but the good news is he won't have to miss an entire season. Saints fans are acting like we are going from Peyton Manning to Curtis Painter. Winston and Dalton have very comparable per game and per season numbers. Dalton will be fine and probably fits better. Avery, thank you, man. Curtis Painter. Woo. That was the guy who was the quarterback when the Saints put up 62 points on the coach. So hopefully he's not Curtis Painter. No, JJ. UTJ, my bad. I normally don't call you Tim. Hey man, that's my name, you know. So look, I answered to that, but I wasn't sure if I didn't know if Tim from Canada was in here. Shouts out to him if he's listening right now. Or some other Tim. But yeah, I just think that running the football is key, and also sustaining drives. Don't know why I'm hoping Dalton don't do too good so Jameis can get his job back and change the narrative in my TJ boys. The cool man, look, here's the thing. Let's not think like that. I want Jameis to change the narrative too, but never forget at the end of the day, we're still Saints fans. And saying stuff and putting that type of energy in the air, some people would possibly think that you're insinuating that the Saints should, lose just so you can, so your narrative can be correct. We're all Saints fans at the end of the day. If Andy Dalton is the quarterback, I want to see him win. Period. I don't care who out there. Look, if Taysom Hill out there quarterback, I want to see him do a good job. It's all about the team. So no, you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't trying to see the Saints lose just so Jameis Winston can go back to his spot and people can be like, man, well, let's go back to Jameis. Look, I want to see this team win, whoever the quarterback may be. Let's see. Met Vanna White. I was on Wheel of Fortune in 2018. She came in and greeted the contestants. Let's see. She was so nice, and Pat Sajak as well. He kept encouraging everyone and wanted them to win. Okay. Well, shouts out to Miss Tab on Wheel of Fortune. Shouts out to her, asking them to buy a vial and letting her solve the puzzle. I feel you. TJ, how many games Dalton going to win in a row for Winston not to get his job back? Your guess. 3. 3. I hate how when Winston plays, we have to win. We have to win through him. Yeah. I think you need a balanced attack. TJ, I low-key miss the penning fights. Homer was putting them boys in a blender. That's probably what they needed, I see these boys, they're a little bit soft on the offensive line. It's good to have yourself a little bit of a bully. Maybe some of that will rub off on, guys next to him. Jameis will remain a starter once he is healthy enough. Andy Dalton will do a great job holding it down. Well, look, I am telling you. It depends on how long Jameis is out. So if Jameis is out, like let's just say Jameis is out 2 to 3 weeks. If Jameis is out 2 to 3 weeks and Andy Dalton wins 2 or 3 games, it's going to be hard for the Saints to go back to him. It's going to be hard. Aaron made a good point about Kamara having 2 memorable moments combined in one. Hopefully, he has a good game. Well, yeah, I hope so. I've been looking for one of them Alvin Kamara games that kind of, that stand out. It's been a while. Man. That dude is talented, man. We just need someone to open the field so we can get back to our screenplay. I don't think Winston needs to come back. Well, I don't know about that, man. I want to see where this thing goes, but I'm telling you, they were not like really sold on him as the starter in the beginning. I think we all can agree to that. I mean, just look at the whole Deshaun Watson situation. They sign him back. They get Andy Dalton, who they feel like is a really good backup, borderline starter. So I know he's a starting quarterback, but his job was not set in stone. And I feel like it was conditional. So if Andy goes out there and Jameis is out for like 2 to 3 weeks, getting himself healed up, and Andy is winning games, you can't go back to him. Because here's the thing, man. Like, in all seriousness, our offense has been struggling as a unit, right? There's really no bright spots for the exception of one fourth quarter against the Atlanta Falcons. So if Andy Dalton was to go out there and win games and the offense is looking efficient and they putting up numbers and you seeing guys, looking good on the offensive line and looking good in the running game, what justification will you have for Jameis Winston to come back? Based on what you've seen this season. Seriously. Based on what you've seen this season, what can you point to be like, well, we need Jameis in this thing? You can't. Now, if Jameis was like lighting it up, like I said, if he had like 10 touchdowns, 1 pick, end up hurting his back, let's just say the Saints was just 2-1 instead of 1-2, and he goes out, then you probably can go back to him. Well, you know what I'm saying? We're going to go back to Jameis now because he was lighting it up. But I'm telling you, he has not done enough at the quarterback position for his job to feel safe if Andy Dalton was to go out there and his offense looks different and they're efficient. So, it's tough. I feel bad for him, but, let's see. Look at Rush in Dallas. He's doing a good job. Dalton will be okay. Well, man, we can't compare the quarterbacks in that. You know what I'm saying? We just got to hope. I mean, that's a level of optimism we can look to. But, all quarterbacks aren't created equal, and all of them, stories aren't going to be the same. Now, you can say based on the talent that the Saints have, he should thrive. And the fact that he's been in the league as long as he has, he could, like he could, do some things, but we'll see. I thought the show was over and notice it's still live. Hey, man, what time it is? It says about 3:41 Central, 4:41. Hey, man, well, I don't want to say it's a little bit too early, but maybe smoking something over there. Let me see how y'all doing and what they call out there. Well, I'm doing good out here. And they are not sold on Dalton either. If they were when they missed out Winston, they should have signed Dalton over Winston. Well, it's not the fact about being sold on anybody. Neither, look, you don't have to be sold on anybody. But if a person is generating success, you ain't got no choice but to roll with them. Look, I want people to understand when I'm saying these things. I'm not saying these things from just to say I'm like, oh, hey, you know what I'm saying? This is the way that I feel. I'm telling y'all, like, when it comes to the NFL, it is a results business. It ain't about well wishing, ain't about how much I like this dude. I'm rooting for this dude. So it's about results. And we have to be honest. Like, based on what his offense was, I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna word this. Based on how this offense is, Jameis Winston hasn't done enough at the quarterback position for his job to feel safe. He has not solidified this position. He only solidified this position in basically, words alone. But it's not like if Andy Dalton comes into this game, offense looks good, he's completing about 65-70% of his pass, and he wins the football games that Jameis is out, that the coaches may not, may look at it and be like, well, we're going to go with Andy. And if Andy starts screwing up, then you might go back to Jameis. But he hasn't done enough. He does not have enough positive equity for them to say, man, you know what I'm saying, we're going to go back to him. Not this season. Now, some of you probably like, man, he had 14 touchdowns, 3. That was last year. I'm talking about right now. I'm telling you, man, like, y'all may not want to hear that, but it is what it is. This dude, like, telling you, this is all about results. I even throw this out there. If Jameis Winston was making money like Dak Prescott, then more than likely this would have been his job. He's not making that much money. It's not like it's to a point where you were just sold on him to begin with at the beginning of the season. And we know they weren't. We all just wanted this dude to succeed so badly. And you know what I'm saying? We wanted them to change the narrative and we supported him. But this wasn't the Saints' first choice. He wasn't. And the way that he was playing, and the way that he was playing, as you know, the offense wasn't looking like nothing. So it's not like if Andy Dalton comes into the game and does some positive things and the offense is running right and you're starting to see like the offense really kind of moving in the right direction and they winning, it'll be tough for them to go back. I'm just telling you, man. I'm just telling you. Now, maybe like a Sean Payton or something like that, maybe get away with it. But Dennis Allen, a guy that's trying to establish himself as a head coach and trying to make this his team, it's going to be a tough decision for him to make, especially when, like I said, this is a results-driven business. This isn't what, you know what I'm saying? This ain't, this isn't like I'm just trying to be controversial. I'm just telling you. PJ, but he just can't be in man defense going deep. PJ is really good in zone. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Playing on outside is not PJ Williams' forte. TJ, stop it, brother. No one else on offense has either. But he's playing the quarterback position, man. He's playing an important position. He's playing a position where you have to make the decisions. You have to make the audibles. You got to make the throws. Like third down conversions are down. Sustainable drives are down. You know what I'm saying? Like certain passes, like taking what the defense gives you from time to time. Like all this stuff is being pointed out. Like we can talk about who fault, his fault, this fault, that fault, all that kind of stuff there. But I'm telling you, if Andy Dalton goes out here and he plays well, and the offense looks like different, and he's putting up some points, and these guys are really just out there making plays, and the Saints are winning, I'm just telling you. Now, the best case scenario is the Saints to win, but Andy Dalton like looking like slaw in the process. That would be the thing that'll help out. That'll be the thing to help out James. Like if they playing like slaw, I'm talking Andy Dalton and the offense just kind of start clicking or whatever like that, and they winning late game heroic still, then I think they might go back to they'll go back to James. But if he's like lighting it up, completion percentage up, third down conversions up. So TJ, is we going 2-1 in the hypothetical 3 weeks and Jameis is healthy, does that justify bringing him back? Does it justify bringing him back? Yeah, like if he was healthy and it was 2-1, yeah. And and the offense was like, balling out or making, making some plays and they weren't as stagnant as they were. Yeah. Yeah, I think they would bring him back. But like I said, man, I don't know. I want people to understand this. I just want people to understand that he is not playing. He's not playing the quarterback position so elite to a point where they don't feel like a change can be made if a guy starts to generate some success. And I do not, like I said, it don't give me like no type of pride or anything like that to say this. I just know how this thing works. Like I even gave you an example about Tony Romo. You know what I'm saying? Like Tony Romo back got messed up. Dak Prescott comes in, wins games. You know what I'm saying? Lights it up. You know what I'm saying? Lights it up, kills the game. Now, some people will say, man, what about Drew Brees and Teddy Bridgewater? I mean, that was Drew freaking Brees, right? It don't get better than that. You know what I'm saying? Teddy Bridgewater won 5 games in a row. I mean, he went 5-0 as a starter, but that's Drew Brees right there. I just think that is different. TJ, is he not playing with significant injuries? So after 3 games, bench him for season? No, sir. I didn't say. I think you're missing the whole point here. I didn't say bench him for the whole season. I said if there's a chance that if Andy Dalton goes out here and lights it up, and you know what I'm saying, they're winning games and the offense is in rhythm, there's a possibility he can lose his job. That's what I'm saying. Like, we can make it like, man, bro. Principles are for the elementary, middle, and high school. You know what I'm saying? We talk like we basically making thoughts and views all principle. Like, these people don't care. Like, I'm keep telling y'all, like, we worrying about what's fair and what's not fair, what they gonna do. Like, I'm telling you, man, I am straight up 100% telling you, these people want to win. And whoever puts them in the best position to win, they're gonna go with it. And I'm saying, based on the way that they carried themselves in the offseason, the way that they went out there to try to go after Deshaun Watson, the way that they signed Jameis Winston after they knew they had no chance at getting Deshaun Watson. You know, and then on top of that, because, okay, let's put it like this. I can even riddle you this. If they was really just that keen on Jameis Winston, and they thought that he was going to be the guy, you know what I'm saying, for the team and be a starter, and they just trusted him as being able to run this offense, why would they go get Andy Dalton, who has been a steady backup, a steady starter in the NFL? Why would they get him? Why they just didn't get Ian Book? You know, like, if you feel like you have a guy, you're not going to, like, you'll go out there and get a guy that's decent, but you ain't about to get a guy that a lot of people consider being on that quarterback level. You're not. Like, you like, you're not going to do that. I mean, just look at the New England Patriots and Jimmy Garoppolo when Tom Brady was there. Jimmy Garoppolo was supposed to be the successor to Tom Brady. Tom Brady didn't like that. He went upstairs and hollered that crap like, man, nah, man, this ain't it. I still want to play. I'm still playing at a high level. So what they traded Jimmy Garoppolo because they wanted them to feel comfortable. Andrew Luck back in 2012, right? When Peyton Manning, you know what I'm saying, was on the back end of his career, right? You bring in Andrew Luck. What they did, they end up letting Peyton Manning go, signing with the Denver Broncos. No organization, if they have the level of trust and belief in a quarterback to feel like he's the starter, that are going to put a backup in place that is on that particular level. It's just not going to happen. They're going to make that situation as comfortable as possible for that starting quarterback. They're not going to bring in a guy like Andy Dalton. Like, the fact that we're even having this conversation right now tells you everything that you need to know. Like, you know, like, some people are talking about how good Andy Dalton is. Some people are talking about how good Jameis Winston is. Somebody please tell me, if Drew Brees was the starting quarterback of the team right now and the Saints signed Andy Dalton, would any of us care? Would any of us be lobbying for Andy Dalton to be the starting quarterback of the Saints? No. Will we be talking about, if Drew Brees is hurt, okay, Andy Dalton, he out here playing, he balling out, let's just bench Drew Brees? No, we would not. It's obvious. Teddy Bridgewater won all them games, and people are like, okay, man, yeah, good job, Teddy, good job, man. All right, Drew, come on back in. If the Saints was that sure about Jameis Winston, they would not put a quarterback that has started just as many games as him, more games than he has, and they definitely wouldn't put a quarterback out there that is kind of, when it comes to it, like on his level as far as the play. So I'm just telling you what it is. That this team, like, that he has not had enough skins on the wall as a New Orleans Saints quarterback in order for them to not be even considering, you know, what Andy Dalton can do. If Andy Dalton can get something out this offense that they haven't seen the last couple of weeks and he start winning, he ain't got enough cachet. If he had a stat line, once again, 10 touchdowns, maybe even 2 picks, 9 touchdowns, 3 picks, something like that, and they just line it up with offensive efficiency, then I guarantee you, like, this conversation would be like a waste of time. And I would definitely agree with you. But he hasn't done enough when it comes to the offense, and the offense hasn't been moving along with him to a point where the Saints aren't looking and evaluating Andy Dalton and seeing what this offense can be when he's under center. 2 wide receivers, 1 fullback, 1 running, 1 tight end, running the ball 55 of the times, pass 45 of the times. Man, how many plays you think they getting? And I don't know if you're gonna get those many plays. That's a lot of football right there. Why would you not get the best backup you possibly can? Injuries happen. Did we not suffer a lot of injuries last year? You're gonna get the best backup that you can, but also, bro, like you're not gonna get a quarterback that is on the level or somebody that the starting quarterback can feel as threatening. That just, I mean, it just does not work, man. It does not work. It don't work. Think about it. Let's go back in the 80s. Let's talk about Steve Young and Joe Montana. When the San Francisco 49ers, when Bill Walsh felt like, you know what I'm saying, Joe Montana was towards the end of his career, he wanted to use Steve Young. There was dissension inside of the locker room because of these two dudes. So what they had to do, they decided to keep Steve Young and allow Joe Montana to go to the Kansas City Chiefs. You know, like, I mean, Nick Foles and Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz, 2017, like he was up for being league MVP before he tore everything he had in his leg. Then in comes Nick Foles. Nick Foles goes to the postseason, wins the playoffs, goes to the Super Bowl MVP. Carson Wentz, you know, rehabbing back, not the same quarterback. Seemed like there was a little stale. In comes Nick Foles. Do you remember? Of course you remember. It happened in 2018. He helped these guys go to the playoffs, and he was a Alshon Jeffries drop away from possibly winning a game against the Saints. So what happened? You had a shrine in the locker room for Nick Foles, right? That made Carson Wentz feel some type of way. So what did they do? They decided to send Nick Foles to Jacksonville. The reality is, once again, starting quarterbacks, their teams are not going to allow quarterbacks that are starting to feel like they have to look at, you know what I'm saying, behind them, unless a team absolutely wants that quarterback to feel that type of pressure. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like that. I mean, look throughout time. I never seen a quarterback that stayed on a team for years. I never seen this. I never seen a quarterback that stays on a team for years or stays on a team with a guy who is behind him that, you know what I'm saying, that's pushing the ball, making more plays than, like, I never seen that unless a team intentionally wants to have that level of competition. So it's two things here. It's rather the Saints, you know what I'm saying, rather the Saints knew Jameis was going to get hurt, you know what I'm saying, or they probably just like, well, if it don't pan out or he, you know, does the things that we feel like he's done in the past, then we can go and get him and bring in Andy Dalton, and, you know, maybe it can work out with him. I ain't never seen that. I never seen a starting quarterback play in a league and have a backup to, you know what I'm saying, that, you know, he was just constantly feeling pressure on, unless the team actually legitimately wanted that to happen. They usually like just try to, like, they'll bring in a guy who's decent, right? You know what I'm saying? Like somebody that can probably, you know, move the offense or what. It's like, okay, it's like Mac Jones and Brian Hoyer. Okay, so Mac Jones is hurt. Brian Hoyer is playing this Sunday in the next game. Now, seriously, who's a better quarterback? Who's better? Is Mac Jones better than Brian Hoyer? I think he is. You just don't see that. You just don't see backup quarterbacks playing on a level or the same level as a starting quarterback, unless the team just brings in that backup quarterback because they feel like something is missing from the starter. Who has more potential as a backup quarterback this year, TJ, Andy, or Teddy? That's a tough question. I like Mike McDaniel's offense, the way that he's made, you know, he has that offensive innovation. I just think when Andy Dalton can run the offense of the New Orleans, I think both of these guys can have success. Based on how they're set up. You know, Teddy has those tools to be able to, push the ball down the field to Tyreek Hill. Well, you threw a 64-yard pass to him last night. Andy is one of those guys that, he can move around offense. He can audible and put guys in positions to make plays. He can throw the ball. He can manage the game if need be. So both of those guys are kind of tailor-made to the offenses that they actually have right now. So I think they both can be successful. That is all TJ is saying, Keen Arthur. Let me go back. Let me see. That was the only issue I had with James. TJ, just move the chains, bro. Our receivers have been getting open routinely. Takes a deep shot when it's there. Don't force it. Take the 7 to 20 yarders. Yeah, I mean, that was a big issue. I think the impatience sometimes can, cause you to not make the best decisions. And I also think that people making a big deal about him getting mad on the sidelines. I think it was a completely different thing. I think he was looking at the tablet, and I think like he saw maybe that somebody was open and he was able to like sustain a drive. And I think he got frustrated at himself. I think people like he walking off, didn't want to hear from Coach Curry. I don't think that's what it was. I think that because he looked down at the tablet, he was like, oh man, this dude was open. I missed it. And he kind of got frustrated at himself. Like, man, I had it. I think it was more like that. I don't think it was just the fact that he was just frustrated, at the plate. But I just think that a few plays here, a few plays there, he should be fine. I like Winston and want him to succeed, but if we winning, it is going to be a tough decision to go back to him. That's all I'm saying, man. Team chemistry means a lot, especially like when you're struggling. No, TJ, you get the best player you can. A backup is one play away from being a starter. That's true, but I'm just saying that the history just don't back that. Like I'm just saying, like go back in time. Name a quarterback that backup was on the cusp or better than them and that stayed on the team. I just never seen it. I've never seen a quarterback and a backup quarterback that was kind of similar on the same level and it coexists. I just never seen it. It's two things. It's rather that backup quarterback came on and it just started to like, kind of percolating. It's like, oh man, we got to look out for this guy. Or it's like the team not too sure about the quarterback that they actually have right now. And, maybe this guy that we're developing right now, he can come in and make some plays. I ain't never seen two decent NFL starting wording quarterbacks be on the same team and not have some level of controversy behind it. I just never seen that. That's why Winston was playing injured in the first place. He knew if he sit down, it could be his last time playing quarterback for the Saints. I believe that too. I believe that. It's a competition. The warrior mentality, I believe that kept him out there. The drive, the determination, I believe kept him out there. But also the thought about possibly not being in that position again also, also like kind of put him in that position. Said, no, fam, we go agree to disagree. Yeah, that's fine. But I mean, I ain't got no problem with that. But like I said, at the end of the day, I never seen a backup quarterback and a starting quarterback who are on equal playing fields or had it was a potential threat ever remain on the team. It's rather the starting quarterback leaves, go somewhere else, or the backup quarterback leaves and go somewhere else. Carson Wentz and Jalen Hurts. Can I interest you in that? I mean, Joe Flacco during the time when Lamar Jackson was coming on. I mean, I never seen it. I never seen a quarterback that was a real potential threat. They stayed on the team and coexist together. I never seen that. If you have a starting quarterback, he's up here, and when he goes down, there's a drop off in play, and there's that for a reason. And it doesn't mean that the backup quarterback isn't steady. Doesn't mean that they're not good. Just means that that starting quarterback is better. They know they better. They play the position better. You can tell when they out there. But having two quarterbacks, same team, and one is a potential threat to the starter, it's only a matter of time. Nick Foles was one of the best, one of the best pack of the Philadelphia Eagles ever had. He took them to the Super Bowl, and one thing no other backup ever did that took their team to the Super Bowl and win. Now that's definitely not true. That is definitely not true. Jeff Hostetler, I mentioned him. You know, he was a backup. We can't forget Kurt Warner. You know what I'm saying? Kurt Warner was a backup quarterback. You know, I don't know if people remember that. You know what I'm saying? Like, who else, you know what I'm saying, was a backup quarterback? Doug Williams was a backup quarterback. Took the Washington, at the time, Redskins to the Super Bowl. So, and won. You know, one Super Bowl MVP. So this has happened before. It's not like it's brand new. We seen this movie before. Tom Brady. Yep, Tom Brady. Drew Bledsoe was the starting quarterback. You know, then he got knocked out in that game versus the Jets. Tom Brady took over the spot, and the rest was history. So, yeah, I mean, you got plenty of stories like that. If you're not winning, you're losing. There is no in between. Pretty much. You know, it's rather you win or you lose. TJ, is that the main reason guys put their health on the line to preserve it? Yes, sir. Yes, that's the that's the reason. Like, man, you're a veteran guy who playing a position. You see this young upstart coming along. Like, yeah, they're gonna be playing through the pain, man. They're gonna be putting extra equipment on. They're gonna be trying to do all these things in order for them to try to stay out there on the field. They feel the competition. They feel that. They feel that competition, man. So who would you rather have, TJ, Winston or Dalton? I'd rather have Winston, you know what I'm saying, as a healthy Winston as the starting quarterback. But if he's not healthy, you know what I'm saying, then you got to go with Andy. But once again, the Saints cannot unsee what they saw, regardless to what the situation was, what the injury was. They can't see they can't unsee what they saw. So the organization, the fan base, if Andy Dalton is winning, and you've been sometime at the beginning of the season when it comes to offense under Jameis Winston, I mean, they're gonna take that into account. That's all I'm saying. Like, I mean, look, as far as like talent, like I said, I still believe in Jameis Winston. I still believe in. I feel like he's not helping his cause or the Saints' cause by going out there playing hurt. Because you're a stationary target. You're not able to do everything in your repertoire. So you're hurting yourself. And at the same time, you're hurting the team as well because you can't do everything that you normally can do to win. Like how many drives probably would have been sustained if Jameis Winston probably scrambled out of the pocket? Like how many, like I think about that game versus Tampa last year that he played in before he got hurt. He was playing a lot of man-to-man coverage. He was running, taking off every play, 10, 12 yards a pop. He couldn't do those things. He had to stand stationary in the pocket. So when you're limited and the things that you can do, it's not fair. You know, it's not fair that you're being evaluated like that, but it's also you're hurting the team and you're hurting yourself too, because you got a lot of people out there that don't feel that you have what it takes anyway to play a quarterback position at a high level. So, and you're also like putting thoughts in the back of other teams' mind that may think about getting you in the future. I don't want that for him. I want him to have a fair shot. But you're not going to get a fair shot if people saying you resorting back to what you did in Tampa. Fair or unfair? Who That Nation, thank you very much for $5. Says, who your all-time favorite Saints? Mine, Han, Knight, and Deuce and Williams. Okay. My all-time, I go with Drew Brees, Marcus Colston. I'm trying to see over the course of time. Man, Drew Brees, Marcus Colston, Sammy Knight, and Willie Roaf. You know, it's probably some of my favorite. I mean, I got so many. I got so many people. Let's see, TJ, we would love to have you on the show tonight so we can further discuss this topic. Um, I would love to be on the show, but once again, man, I being out here, we supposed to have like some really bad wind and stuff like that coming through throughout the night, and it could have potential power outages and stuff like that, man. So I'm not too sure if I could, but if I get a chance to just to come on there or take a look, you know what I'm saying, I will try to do my best, but I'm not too sure just yet where it's going to be. I know the rain is supposed to stop in, let me see, supposed to stop probably in the next hour, and it's supposed to have some real bad wind, and that honestly that causes those power outages. So I see. We have a whole lot of people in here who obviously think Jameis is way better than he's ever shown himself to be, and believe Dalton is way worse than he's ever shown himself to be. Well, I just think that it's a matter of, I think that all of this is determined by the well wishes that we have. You know, you got some people out here who want to see Jameis succeed and they want to feel right about their take on Jameis. And you got some people out here want to be right about their take on Jameis and they want Andy Dalton to succeed. But once again, I'm a Saints fan at the end of the day. I don't care. Like I don't care who the quarterback is, to be quite frankly. You know, as long as they doing what they need to do to win. Like picking and choosing about, man, he can do this, he can do that. We need him. I don't care, man. Who gonna win the game? That's all I care about. Who is gonna win the freaking game? Let's see. Stay the same podcast. Do next week with Dolph 17. Hopefully the rain and wind will be gone. Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, hopefully it will be. Let me see. State of Saints and keeping it real. Who That Sports Podcast link up next week. Yeah, man. I mean, I'm open to doing that, but like I said, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to be on there and then all of a sudden the power go out or something. Or I mean, so I don't want to like do your show a disservice, or you know what I'm saying, be on there and then can't be on there. I don't want to do that. So it's not that I don't want to. I just I don't want any interruptions, to happen. The reason why I was able to do this show, honestly, is because I mean, we had some rain, but it's not as windy, and that wind, I'm saying, like it's supposed to be. Let me see. The wind's supposed to be almost like at like 50. I'm saying, 50 some miles per hour. So that kind of stuff, create power outages. So, no, you think Jameis is worse than he is, and you could not wait. And I am not talking to TJ. Well, look. I love Jameis Winston. Like, I'm serious, man. I love Jameis Winston. I love his representation. You know what I'm saying? Like, I talk to them, behind the scenes. They're all great people. His dad, you know what I'm saying? I've talked to him before. He's a great person. I have no problem with him at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, at all. I'm when I get behind his microphone, I'm just telling people, like, some people may think that the views that I have are based on, my level of disdain for one person, but it's not. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, like, when I'm here, I try to be as objective as possible, because I also want, man, I'm blessed to be able to like talk to people that actually played the game, and so from time to time, like, they'll give me like certain information, like, man, that ain't right. They did this, man, they did this because of this, and I try to, like, bring that here to let y'all know, like, I know sometimes we speculate, but I also, what I'm saying, want to take you into the mind of what an athlete may feel about that, a person that has been in them locker rooms. That's all I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? It's not so much like I'm just trying to, like, I'll be trying to like hate on somebody. Like, I'm not trying to hate on anybody. I want all these guys to succeed and be able to create generational wealth for them, you know what I'm saying, for their family and their kids and their kids' kids, but I mean, sometimes, like the NFL is not fair. And I think sometimes when we look at it from a fair and unfair standpoint. Like, I show up to work all the time, every single day, on time. I ain't never late. I ain't never miss a day. Therefore, if they have some level of promotion, I should be first. I should have first dibs based on my performance. You know, I mean, yeah, in a world like that, it's supposed to work like that. It's supposed to work that way, but it don't work like that all the time. Sometimes you can put forth your best effort and still here comes somebody else because they feel like this person right here may have, I don't know, an extra degree, or the fact that they took these many hours of doing this particular thing and it's going to help them be beneficial to the job. I mean, the NFL is about competition. It's about putting them guys out there no matter what. It's about you show me this week, you ain't show me that week, but this guy showed me this week, and like that's just the way that it works. Looking at it from like, what's fair, like, man, what that old saying, they said fair is a place with Ferris wheels and clowns, you know what I'm saying? And like, come on, man, that's like, who cares about what's fair? In all fairness, based on Jameis Winston giving it his all, yeah, he should be able to go back out there and be the starter. But that's not the way the NFL works. It is about results. And if you're not putting up the results, then guess what? You're going to have to sit down. And if the person is like clicking on all cylinders, the guy that replaced you, then guess what? He's going to continue to play. No excuses. Jameis had great wide receiver talent around him. Take the 5 to 10 yards, stop long ball at it every down, especially 3rd and 1. Like, I agree, you got to take what the defense gives you sometimes, but I mean, he did some positive things too. And I think one of the biggest knocks that you can say on Jameis Winston is maybe he have too much trust in his wide receivers. Like, he can throw that thing up there, he know they're gonna come down with it. I mean, that's beneficial for a wide receiver, not so much if you're a coach. Because you're always gonna be like, no. Yes. Like on some Mike Holmgren, Brett Favre stuff. Tony Eason of the Patch did it too in '85. Yeah. I mean, they didn't win because they lost to the Chicago Bears. But yeah, he was also one of them. It's about wins and losses. The NFL doesn't hand out Lombardies because they feel sorry for you. That statement of the day right there. Did drop my love you, TJ. Been a fan for years now. Tay, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Thank you for being here, and thank you for your love and support. Also, man, hit that like button. Hit that like button if you enjoy the State of the Saints podcast. We're trying to grow the channel. We're trying to get to 10,000 subscribers, and if you're not a subscriber, I really need your help to make that happen, and I would really appreciate that. Look, my final thoughts are simple. Andy Dalton is the starting quarterback going into Sunday. I just want to win. I don't care, man. Look, I said this last show, and I'm gonna say it again. All right, let's not forget the most important thing out of all this is that we're all freaking Saints fans. We're Saints fans. We love the team. We want to see this team succeed. Let's not let things like who playing a quarterback position divide us as a fan base. And let's continue to support this team. Let's continue to support this team and show love to the team. And yeah, some of you are probably uncharted waters, levels of uncertainty you're probably not used to. Fine. But that's the magic of the NFL. That's the magic of being a fan of the team. It's like a roller coaster ride. It gives you ups and downs, and sometimes it can be a little bit bumpy. But nevertheless, when the ride stops, everybody looks around and say, hell, you know what I'm saying? I enjoy this ride. So enjoy the ride, enjoy the process, enjoy, being a Saints fan. Continue to say who they. And let's not, be so angry with one another. Like all of us have opinions. Some of us opinions are strong. Some of our opinions are not so strong. But guess what? That's what makes us special as people. That's what makes us special as individuals. Who wants to hang out with a bunch of people that act like them, sound like them, have the same take as him? How magical and how special would this world be if everybody thought the same? But we got to get away from that stuff. We got to get away from trying to be like-minded and being like, sharing the same brain, because that's not how the world works. I embrace anybody that comes on here talking about they don't agree with it. Shouts out to, people that are willing to, stand on what they feel, because that's what makes the world better. That's how we grow as people. That's how we develop, right? Because we can learn from one another. And if we can't agree, we can just agree to disagree and keep it moving. But the energy that I'm seeing over these last couple of weeks, since the whole Jameis Winston, injury situation and Andy Dalton, like, I don't like what I see. I don't like what I see, and I don't think that's beneficial to any Saints fan. So let's support this team going into this game versus the Minnesota Vikings. Let's show love to one another. Let's respect each other's opinion, and let's just go from there. And I guarantee you, we'll get back to saying who that and enjoying moments and having great shows where the Saints winning games and we're on a path to prosperity. So that's my final thought. But this is the State of the Saints podcast, and thank you all so much for being here. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com. Search The State of the Saints podcast. We're also available on facebook.com. Search The State of the Saints podcast. Previous episodes available on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor FM, also a part of the Pigskin Podcast Network. And we're also brought to you by manscaped.com. Use the promo code State of Saints. You'll save 20% off of your purchase. Lee Honcho, thank you for the $4.99. Says Sunday, I will wake up at 8 a.m. With my OJ to drink and Tylenol extra strength for the stress because, oh boy, I don't know what to expect. Well, let's just expect the best and just keep it moving from there. Till next time, all I got to say is, who dat?